Probably the most interesting one would be AWS Interconnect, which is their multi-cloud networking with Google, which basically surprised a lot of people. So they introduced AWS Interconnect. It's a multi-cloud, starting with Google Cloud to provide managed high bandwidth private connectivity between clouds using a new joint interoperability specification. So what's interesting there is the fact that multi-cloud was always a bad word at AWS, and I think they would admit that. In other words, if you talked about multi-cloud, they didn't want to put that in terms of their messaging, and they would say that it's easier for them to adopt a homogeneous AWS solution because all the interconnections are going to be tested than move into a multi-cloud deployment. So they viewed that as a kind of a bad word. In fact, I was encouraged when I was speaking at some of the AWS events not to use multi-cloud in the messaging. And obviously I was Mr. Multi-Cloud for the last 10 years. And I think that worked not in their favor, because in many cases, I think they pushed themselves out of many deals when obviously many of these organizations are looking to leverage best of breed technology, and obviously the bits and pieces from AWS and bits and pieces from Microsoft and bits and pieces from Google. And if they push back on that as a, promoted architecture, then they were leaving themselves out a lot of these deals out there. And now adopting multi-cloud, I think it's a step in the right direction. They should have done it 5 years ago. And I think they're going to see some uptick in the fact that they're providing, generally available cross-cloud services where they're supporting the architectures that many of their existing customers are already using, which is going to be a multi-cloud. So step in the right direction, 5 years too late.